maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. So this War Department, Mr. President, just like America, is back.
Somewhere along the line, the Pentagon just lost its way. The U.S. military should be a synonym for excellence in warfighting. It should stand for victory. It should symbolize triumph. Instead, for too many years, it symbolized drift and weakness and, yes, defeat. Now, none of this is the fault of our soldiers. It is the fault of the politically correct generals and admirals who ran the Pentagon. That must change, and the president believes that part of that change requires a change in attitude. The Pentagon exists to win wars. That's not something to be ashamed of. If the president's relabeling leads to a stronger and better military, all Americans will have reason to thank him. And that's the angle. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is with us. Senator, your colleagues Mike Lee and Rick Scott just introduced legislation to officially rename the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Will you be joining them on this?
Oh,
It's not peace.
Of course. I see this as about getting back to mission, Laura, which is about recruiting war fighters who are going to fight the wars that protect America. And, you know, what Biden did for the last 4 years by turning the military into a giant DEI seminar has got to end. I mean, you think about it. They were conducting transgender surgeries in the military, in military facilities. We were paying for abortions for military members, service members, for, who knows who else that we're getting this kind of funding for these kind of projects. It's outrageous. It's totally outrageous. They should be defending America. To me, that's what this is all about. I welcome the change.
This idea that we have to interpret this somehow as diplomacy is out, soft power is out. Respond to that, because that is the drumbeat we've heard all day long.
Well, this is why we have the Department of State, as you pointed out just a moment ago. I mean, this is why we have Marco Rubio and whole teams of ambassadors all across the world who are doing a great job. And of course, as you also said, the president is a skilled negotiator. He loves to negotiate. He's done it already to great effect in his first few months of this second term. So listen, the idea that we're not going to negotiate is ridiculous. But here's the thing. You have to have a credible threat in order to make the negotiations real. And people need to fear the United States again. They need to see that we have the most lethal military on the face of the earth, and that when we make a threat, we're serious about it. I think Trump is demonstrating that. I think this change is going to put a fine point on it.
Now, Adam Kinzinger is not happy about this name change, Senator. Watch this.
The words do matter. So, Department of Defense actually seems to say this is as much as a war department. It's a department for telling people that we're going to defend our country, for deterrence. And it just feels like it's kind of an old man reminiscing about the days of old, the Department of War, and trying to cover for weakness.
So weakness, Senator, and this is just like nostalgia for a time that's long past. And your reaction?
Yeah, well, the only nostalgia involved here is the left's nostalgia for their DEI woke garbage that the whole country has rejected. And by the way, Adam Kinzinger, I just can't help mentioning, last time I heard that guy, he was in my state, busy shooting a reporter and then running off before the police could question him about it. No lie, almost a year ago. I mean, this is not a guy who's famous for his strength under pressure. I don't think he should be giving Donald Trump any pointers about strength, standing up, taking a position, or standing firm.
Now, Senator, on to another topic. Chris Van Hollen is known for making Kilmar Abrego Garcia's #1 issue, and we flew down there to the Supermax prison and so forth. But I think he said he has a new set of constituents now, the Venezuelan cartel members. Watch this.
What this was an extrajudicial killing, pure and simple. It was illegal. We only have the Trump administration's word to take for who was on that boat. But even if they were right, we're not in a war with Venezuela. Even people on this boat, we don't know exactly who they are, and presidents should not just be ordering a hit.
Your response to your colleague is the administration on shaky legal ground. They seem very upset that drug traffickers are dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they want the drug traffickers here in America. That's what Biden did for the last 4 years. Listen, I mean, here's the contrast in approaches. Trump is calling the Defense Department the Department of War. Meanwhile, the Democrats want to use our soldiers to go read Miranda rights to possible suspects before we do anything to them, who are not even in this country, not American citizens. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. The president was totally within his constitutional authority to order that strike. I am glad he's taken these people out before they get into our country. And I have to tell you, Laura, once again, he's demonstrating strength.
Well, I guess he should have let them into the country, processed them, and heard their credible fear claims, and then released them into the country and give them a notice to appear for 8 years. That would have made Van Hollen very happy. Hey, Senator, it's great to see you. It's been a while. Thanks so much. All right, yesterday, you may have seen this massive raid in Georgia at a Hyundai battery plant. I showed up, and remember, this plant opened just a few years ago. Authorities say that 475 people were arrested, and they were in the U.S. illegally and now in custody. A majority of those arrests were Korean nationals working at the Korean car company. Now, hundreds of arrested illegal workers means hundreds of job openings for Americans at that plant in Georgia, so that should be good news. Remember, that factory was supposed to create, we were told, more than 8,000 jobs. Well, they made that promise, so they weren't talking that they all be American jobs, apparently. Here for a reaction, Congressman Brandon Gill of Texas. Congressman, we have been raising the red flag on this issue of foreign workers in the United States and are concerned, in some cases, about these big projects and these. We talked about the wind farms, and we talked about other infrastructure projects, and now a car company bringing in foreign workers for jobs that we were told would be American workers. Your reaction tonight?
Well, this is a president who's doing what he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. What President Trump is saying here is, look, America is a nation, not an economic zone. And we want businesses to come into the United States to invest, to build factories. But whenever you come in, you need to follow our rules and you need to hire our people. The American people recognize that mass migration, in particularly illegal immigration, reduces American wages. It takes American jobs. And most importantly, I think, it erodes the cultural foundations that make America unique. And this is a huge step in pushing back against this. I applaud the president for doing what he said he was going to do.
Now, back in 2022, President Biden was in South Korea, Congressman, and he announced the groundbreaking that was taking place for this factory. Watch.
It's great to be here to announce the more than $10 billion in new investment in American manufacturing. This new commitment of $5 billion for advanced automotive technology and $5.5 billion investment to open a new factory near Savannah, Georgia, is going to create more than 8,000 new American jobs.
Well, Congressman, that sounds great, and there are some American jobs, but 475 jobs were going to Korean workers that they were paying subpar wages to what American workers would have gotten, and that's why Hyundai undoubtedly was interested in keeping those Korean workers there.
That's exactly right. Listen, illegal immigration is a huge problem in this country. They're bringing in workers who are getting paid below market wages, who are oftentimes exploited, who it's not in their interest to be working in the shadows. And they're doing it to make money off of this country. That's a problem, and that's what we need to end. And let me tell you this. This raid is another example of exactly what we voted for, what Congress voted for in the big, beautiful bill, President Trump's historic tax bill, where we allocated over $100 billion for border enforcement, for interior immigration enforcement. This is what we want the agencies doing.
And this idea that you only arrest violent criminals and anyone else here illegally, even if they're taking a job that American could have, they should just be let to